Yes, we are. Hello and welcome to the second instalment of the StarEdge TrekWare podcast, where I'm here joined today by Professor Gilad Reback, Reverend Elliot Goland, and Anonymous and myself. We've just seen the third episode of Star Trek Discovery, and we're going to give our views and thoughts. So just as a quick over review, we saw the Michael Burnham and her prison colleagues. Would you call them prison colleagues?
I would say co-prisoners.
Co-prisoners, not really colleagues, whatever. It's like a friend at work is not really a friend. And they get caught in some form of storm. They get transported on Discovery, and they get sent on a mission. She finds out Discovery is a scientific vessel, and in the end, after an incident on the Glen, we see that actually they're developing not a weapon but a method of travel, and somehow Burnham ends up on the ship because really the captain wants her there all along. So just first, anyone, general thoughts. What did they think about the way she actually got on the ship? Did anyone think it was a bit...
It was very coincidental.
Yeah.
And I think we all
it's
agree that.
meant to be contrived, and she works she's pulling the strings, but
I mean,
for
by
the
the
whole
time
episode, the captain appears to be a puppet master. And
yeah, he seemed to be pulling the strings not just from the foreseeable future, but from quite some time beforehand, based on what he said how...
But did you not think it's strange that a prisoner who's clearly quite dangerous, you just, sign him to a science station, do this, like, obviously had he not come out afterwards and said, oh yes, I wanted you all along, then yeah, it all fits together. But it was a bit too predictable, that.
Yeah, it was very strange that he assigned a convict and a mutineer to the stations, particularly if they were working on such sensitive projects.
And if he's dead to pick up anyway, why does the pilot of the prison ship end up having to die in the process?
Yeah, that was, I mean, it could have been, but yeah, he's like, oh, I'm secret black ops, like, people die basically, and if that's the way I'm going to get Burnham. But then again, he said, I can pull strings. Why did he have to do that? Why can't he just say, by the way, I won't do a secret project, you haven't got any friends anyway, you're not going to tell anyone. So, anyway, so I thought that was a bit strange. What did everyone think of the actual ship Discovery? I'm very, very glad it's not a leading Starfleet vessel.
It is good that it isn't, because you see so many ships and stations that are like flagships, or it's like the only one in that space. Like take Voyager for example, it's like the only Federation ship in the Delta Quadrant. You see lots of things like that, so it's nice to see that it's like not quite unique.
I mean, what I also really liked was it didn't seem too flashy. You know how like in previous Star Treks they've always gone out like full works out with the CGI. You looked at that and it looked a bit rusty.
But perhaps it's also because it's on a secret or classified mission, so they don't want it to be overly... So they're trying to portray that secretiveness.
Maybe. I mean, we know it's based on the... is it Ralph McQuarrie design? There was a design in the 70s which they were going to use for the Reliant ship. And someone proposed that. And the picture was given to whoever was producing Star Trek 2 at the time. And the picture was upside down. And he goes, yeah, I'll have that. And he goes, no, it's the wrong way around. And that's why the nacelles on the Reliant are on top, rather on the bottom, because of that. And that's this design. I felt it was quite rusty. I thought it was quite tin canny. I don't think they spent a lot of money on the CGI, which I like, because I think it gave more time to the development. What did you think of the characters we
The other thing for the Kensington ship is sort of it comes back from a continuity of everything else in the universe. And if you look at sort of the junior crew quarters, you've got a cadet who you've got a room sort of a lot bigger than you sort of see the junior officers having on.
Also, I would assume that if she was a junior officer, the junior officers would have had a much bigger room with much more people in it. As opposed to just a bunk.
Or, I mean, you do sometimes have ones get, let's say, two of them in a room, but it's not a sort of a huge room. Sort of to get a room sort of that size, you need to almost be the sort of first officer or something.
I think it's quite nice though that we're going from looking at like captains and first officers to sort of like an average day at work for a cadet. I like that because did anyone ever watch The Next Generation Lower Decks, the episode? That was the only episode which ever focused on sort of junior whatever's going on. So I like that. I found that engineering guy a bit annoying. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I mean, he's on a secret ship. There's like a really somewhat like ruthless puppet master captain, and he's like talking back to him. I found that a bit strange. And I
But
found
this was
character
his
a bit
experiment. This was like his idea. The experiment was his idea. He came up with it. So,
Yeah.
so he may be disagreeing with how they're going along with it, what the direction they're taking it to.
And I presume he was gay,
Yeah.
that guy, and
Yes.
that was his partner.
I don't know if that was his partner, but it's definitely reckons that he is gay.
Yeah. Okay, that was interesting. I don't think we've seen that in our Star Trek.
It was definitely implied, but they've not done anything explicit.
Yeah, yeah. What does everyone think of the, firstly, Black Alert?
That was strange. I found that very strange.
Yeah, that was whatever.
For everything getting a little damp.
Yeah, that was that was a bit strange. That, and then we had obviously we were introduced to that her like bunkmate, that girl who wants to be a captain.
Yeah.
Not quite sure what she gives us.
Perhaps she's just there to give us the junior officers' view of everything.
Yeah, I felt she was a bit Americanized.
She
terms
also
of-
seems a bit sort of one-dimensional. She was somehow fast-tracked through the academy, still a cadet, when she gets shipped out they've fast-tracked so much, and yet she seems to have a lot of feathers, doesn't seem to be the top one in the class.
Yeah, you got to bear in mind that they are at war, so they're going to push cadets through the academy faster.
Yeah, but you look at what you see of the cadets, sort of some of the DS9 or with question things like that, the cadets all seem to be the sort of best and the brightest and had to go through rigorous tests first of all. And you look at her and it's almost how
Yeah,
did she get
she
into
did it,
Starfleet?
Sort of like Chesed, sort of like, yeah, your mum knew somebody who knew somebody, yeah, it was a bit odd.
Just doesn't make
What was that monster on the Glen? Anyone? And how, if it could break through like steel, could it, whatever, that's just a scientific question. And we also see that he's got a hidden agenda, although we're not entirely certain what it is.
How is it that he's got a tribble in his ready room, the captain?
1 minute.
The captain's got a tribble in his ready room.
Yeah.
There's this very little thing, about the same size as the tribbles you see in the S9, making the same funny noises. How is it that he got it? He's got
Were the
it.
tribbles introduced in
Yeah.
the original series?
yes.
But was that like new to them then, or did they know about trebles? They were new.
On Enterprise, doesn't the Doctor take triples to feed some of his pets?
Yes, there is a reference.
and there
yeah,
are
there is a reference.
references, I thought, at some point to some triples having been neutered and kept as pets.
You could argue that it was just new to the original series cast because they hadn't come across it.
It's true.
It was-
That's true.
Known to other captains.
Yeah,
Well, that's
very true.
the big question is, does the cadet have access to top secret laboratory?
That is a good question.
I guess we don't know.
It's the same on the question as why that cadet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that sort of sums up the problem. The Star Trek.
And what are they doing in that lab? At the end, when they show you that they've got taken that cat thingy, they've got a big.
It looked like a lobotomy sort of lab.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, Elliot, I think you were saying.
No, but I think it sums up the survival. The problem with this one in some ways it's good sci-fi, but it's just not Star Trek. The traditional Star Trek model
Yeah.
is you go, you have a big mission, whether it's sort of explore things, whether it's help this planet sort of develop something almost for the common good. Here, the only thing you got to win the war is so much in the sort of background. They're not actually sort of doing things directly.
Yeah.
And you're talking through the stories being unravelled sort of bit by bit is rather than it being almost a drama where you sort of know where you got to go and there's sort of a new challenge, a new development. They've sort of very much gone for this modern sort of almost thriller type drama where
Yeah, but do you not prefer that?
unfairly,
Do you not prefer that when sometimes it got to a point in like The Next Generation, where they get into like a massive trouble, and then within like 2 minutes at the end, they just unravel everything and whatever. Here you've got the continuity, and the thriller is like you don't know. Maybe it will thrill into the next episode.
You look at
rather than let's just sum it up.
you look at DS9,
Gently,
and as much as that type of thing happen, or things happen, that you do have the continuity. It does sort of string together. I got no problem even where you got the sort of with some like 11 part thing at the end of the last season. But the goal is very much there. You can tell what they're doing. You've got several major crew characters. It's always about the relationship and the sort of challenge, rather than everything being revealed just in time for the next scene.
Yeah, true.
And you've got no bigger picture to place it in.
Yeah.
There's no.
I mean,
There's no higher purpose.
Obviously, we might be prejudging this because we haven't seen the cast really interacting together. Like, you know, we don't know who the main cast are going to be anymore.
Why not? We've seen 3 episodes.
No, we've seen 3 episodes. 2 of them were a prequel. We all agreed it was a prequel.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It was.
2 are a prequel. Burnham's come on board. There's Saru. I think that's his name, Saru. Hey, what were those things in the back of his head?
They're like tentacle-y things.
Yeah, it was a bit weird that. There was Saru, and there was, unless he was predicting death, and that's his like.
But he
antenna.
didn't in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, true.
He didn't get them.
I don't know. So there's Saru, and then there was that girl who kind of like shunned her. Was she the girl at the helm, or was she the girl with like the visor on her? I don't know. Also, what on earth was that android thing which took over the bridge? It was like a rubbish data.
Perhaps that's meant to be the new data.
Maybe they're going to talk about, we haven't got a positronic brain, or I don't
But,
know.
I mean, is he an android? Because you look at a lot of the issues with Data and whether or not the Data is a sentient being. It looks like Data was the first android to
Yeah.
serve in Starfleet.
Well, no, you can have like a computer like with like automated command routines, but you wouldn't necessarily have that on a place like Discovery.
Emergency command hologram.
Yeah,
Perhaps it's just a cybernetic species. Like
could be.
it's
Very
similar to the Borg but different.
Just not the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Good Borg.
were there any other? Would you say there were any other main points to address, or would you say?
The other big thing I'm wondering is, I don't know if I believe them or not, but they are really trying to get something which allows them to, whether it's just communicate or see the other side of the galaxy or travel that fast. If that type of thing can work, why when you get to Voyager did no one use anything along those lines to...
They did know. Maybe it was just that the warp drives weren't like up to it. That we don't know how fast the warp drives were in Discovery at the moment. It could be that the breakthrough in those 10 years to Kirk's time is what caused it. Also, they had those
1.3 seconds to go, 1.3 seconds to the beach point. They make it sound like that.
Yeah.
The way they're saying is that it takes 1.3 seconds to travel 90 light years.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty fast for even Voyager.
Yeah, I mean, this predates Voyager by how many years?
It could just be the
A few
experiment fails.
centuries.
Sorry?
Like centuries.
It could be the experiment fails.
Yeah.
True.
Or there's a byproduct of the experiment, which is some super killer,
Well,
his real agenda, we don't know. What was
It
the
could be
captain-
that just due to the technological, the level of the technology, the experiment fails and they're going to shelve it for the time being.
Yeah.
And for what? Yeah, but in that case, you're almost starting off with something that. What's the big challenge? What's the big higher purpose then in this series?
To end the war.
Well, yeah, the captain
That-
seems like one of these sort of like steely-eyed sort of I will do anything to, you know, get us through this. But I'm not entirely
It's a bit like
certain.
the other captain in the Voyager episode who was
Yeah.
also stuck in the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah, in the Equinox
Yeah,
episode, yeah, he did seem a bit like him.
If the whole purpose of it is just win the war and that is the higher purpose, then why not start the whole thing off with what and sort of calling someone and sort of saying someone's been given this assignment and that being the big purpose and big goal. It's too removed from the story.
We don't.
The story
Well,
isn't the story isn't
well,
on the
you've
war.
got
The
to-
story is you've
you've
got
got
this
to-
prisoner and
so
how
then-
she get back
Well,
and what she do next.
no. You
But you've
can
got
still
to
see
set
an
the
overall
scene
picture.
somehow. You've got
Yeah,
to
you
set
can
it.
still set. You can. It's not like they announce on the bridge. There's a big war going on. It's like we
Oh,
know
oh.
there's a war going on because we had the prequel.
Only in retrospect, what is the character's mission and and how many characters there can you tell me what their sort of mission is, and how much is it all so cloak and daggers you don't know what's true and what's not? And is that because it's all become almost point of view of one character, and it's no longer about Starfleet, it's no longer about the ship, it's no longer about the voyage, it's about one person.
And trying to work out who's good, who's bad in the fleet itself, rather than...
Yeah, I mean, I guess in previous sort of like Star Treks, we've always had a general overview. Maybe not an Enterprise, but a general overview of everyone's good, everyone's like, you know, selling to the ship.
Even DS9, where you get found, is not necessarily that everyone has to be good, but the fundamental purpose has to be sort of good. There's a higher purpose, and you have several characters in there.
But could you tell that after episode 3 of DS9?
Could you have an episode which didn't focus on number one, or Michael or whatever?
There might be. There'll only be 3 episodes. We don't know.
Yeah,
no,
it's sort of season 4.
I agree. Like in previous ones, we always had like Picard episodes and Riker episodes, but we didn't then see the captain. Fine, but there was no continuity with that.
The point is there is no other character yet who is almost identifiable. Everyone else is smoking mirrors, and it's all got so much questions about them.
No, I think you saw that thing. You saw that thing with the captain and the first officer, who, by the way, the security officer. By the way, she does not look like security officer worthy at all. Like she looks like she's going to like bend like a stick.
Was it like Tasha Yar?
Yeah. So she'll probably die at the end of the first season. I'm sure I can time whatever. But the point is though, we saw that little dialogue with the captain and the first officer. That could very well turn out to be more of a major thing. I know we've read in reviews and whatever, but it's all about Michael Burnham. But we don't know. It's only 3 episodes in, with 2 being a prequel, and this one, which obviously focused on Michael Burnham more than anyone else.
It's not just the focusing, it's the fact that because of Smoke and Mirrors, it's the only character being any bad, the only character doesn't have such fundamental questions about them that you don't know if they're good or bad, you don't know what really drives them or motivates them. In some ways, there's one almost flesh out character, and the rest of them are 2D cardboard cutout characters. And any other series, episode 1, it creates a number of strong characters. In some ways, episode 1 it actually did that with the captain as well as the squad with the medical, and in some ways
that was
push them on a new ship. Yeah, that's my point. How do you get to the start of episode 4 and you've still only got one proper character? That's not Star Trek. That's looking at all the other sci-fi series out there.
I'll be honest with you, I felt a connection with the captain. I felt that he was the main character. I felt he had purpose. I'm not sure about the others.
Is he good or bad?
Is he? No, I don't know.
That's the problem.
But that's not a problem. That's
because you've got no one else whose point of view can tell. You can't start. You can't have an episode from the captain's point of view whilst you don't know if he's good or bad.
Why is that so important?
They're currently portraying him in a negative light.
But uncertain light.
I'm not saying because bad. It's the way there's a lot of modern sci-fi dramas have gone, but it's not. But it's not Star Trek. Star Trek was all about the bigger idea, the bigger purpose.
I'm going to go
beyond the one person.
I'm going to go on a limb here as well and just say, I did not get that impression when I saw the original series of Kirk. When I saw the original series of Kirk, this guy's a cowboy, he's a rogue, and actually 10 years before Kirk, it was also probably corrupt. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, everyone got in there, and then it was only afterwards in space when they stopped all the shady business deals on the side and whatever, like, oh, don't worry about it, I've got jurisdiction over. Do you know what? The captain's probably not even mentioned that he's nicked Michael Burnham. He's probably just said, oh, she died in like an accident. Like, we don't know. But I'm saying, that was what Starfleet was like in Kirk's time. It was a bit like rusty around the edges, wasn't so strict. So I don't think that's a bad portrayal. I think the real problem was in Enterprise, if anyone saw it, that was quite all about the bigger picture, all about this, but I think they were basing that too much on the Next Generation sort of view. But I think it's important we get to...
Enterprise is also telling the stories of humanity's first step in the intergalactic stage, which is very different to the times of Kirk and beyond, where they've made their presence, they're already part of the Federation.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I mean, I feel here like the Federation got a bit too big, and kind of you have a few loose cannons, and it's between now and Picard's time, it's about ironing that out. and getting thought. That's my opinion, at least. I don't know. So summing up, what would you give that episode out of 10, Elliot? On a positive scale, please.
5.
Give it a 5. Anonymous?
6.
6. Gillard?
7.
Well, do you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to say a 7.5. I think it was a 7.5 episode. I didn't like the way it all kind of rushed in, like, yeah, just give her a phase pistol, whatever. I'd rather that than see 3 episodes of character development of getting to that point. I'm happy they just rushed in and whatever, they just got on with it. I do think it's got a continuity to it, and I do think that it's quite interesting that we don't know whether somebody's good or bad. We've never seen that really in Star Trek, except with Garrick. Was Garrick good or bad in DS9?
It's true.
To this day, I still don't know.
And Quark were more ambiguous, but it's just not that you knew they were more
But the
ambiguous
difference between
characters.
Quark and Garrick was Quark. You knew with Quark as a Ferengi, he was always out to make money. So he was always had that something. But with Garrick, you can never be quite certain. Was he doing it for himself, or did he have some ulterior motive?
Yeah, Quark starts out like that, but you start to look under sort of Cardassian occupation, and he starts to actually, as things get on, get more and more of a conscience in some ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Just one question for me, just generally, how it's been played out, is that there are some silly things that they've done which lead to questions which they didn't need to do, like having them all eat in 10 forward over that wasn't necessary, or sending out the captain first officer on all the voyage missions in the crew. It's silly things like that in the script writing, which I think they've made some faux pas on.
Why make her Spock's brother? Why, in some ways, have such a big thing? Why not just have her assigned to that ship?
Yeah, well,
but
that's why I think it's quite. That's why I think the character of the captain is to tell her, and he's given her like a false sense of security that it's all fine. But do you know what? If somebody said Michael Burnham died in the Federation, it's not like it goes out on national press, although they're making a big hoo-ha of her. It's probably like, oh no, like we killed like a prisoner, let's just push it under the rug and whatever, people will forget about her because she's serving life sentence anyway. I don't think people know. I think he's gone out there and I think he's done the real dirty. It's sort of like employing an illegal person who shouldn't really be there and exploiting them. Like, does she get a wage? Does she have like national health? Probably not. I don't think it existed then. Anyway, so fine, we've all given our views, we've all given our thoughts. Let us know what you think. Classic YouTube. Let us know what you think. Leave your comments, suggestions, berations and everything else in the bottom. And hopefully next week we'll be here to join you for episode 4.